Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Nobody has come.
We'll start the class. So the class has been live streamed. Those who missed today's class, we will share the link immediately in the class once the class is done. So they will listen live class.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So we'll start with the prayers. So with me. Dasya Jnana Janashalakyam Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadhati Swabdadikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Dapadakmanam Shri Dapat Shri Rupam Sagratam Sagana Raghunatam Vidantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Chaitam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagan Vendra Shri Vishagan Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namne Nama Acharya Padaya Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Visheshunyamadi Paschati Deshchani Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanyaya Namne Goritu Sinamha He Krishna Karana Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Deepika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusuti Devi Pranamami Haripi Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindho Vyavachapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudret Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langete Girim Yat Kripadam Vande Shikram Devadaranam Paramananda Madam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, Lakshmi Mataji and Sainanita Mataji. Thank you for joining today. So most of them, I guess, they did not notice the note that the class has been preponed today. So that's the reason, I guess, most of them didn't turn up. Okay. So anyways, today the reason why we have preponed is because we got a important meeting in temple. Today you might know that the one of the biggest icon of ISKCON is Grace.
Namo Prabhuji.
Moglila Prabhuji has come to Hyderabad. Tomorrow there is a big event that is being. So today there is a class meeting to our temple devotees by him. So we need to attend that meeting by 7 p.m. So that's the reason the class has been preponed today.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Sorry for the change because of our regular devotees missed. Okay, fine. So anyway, since this class is live stream, I can share the link immediately once the class is done. So that's the reason the class will continue. Okay. Thank you, Bharat Bhushan Prabhu. Thank you for we just started. Okay. So last time we were discussing about the third chapter. Okay, so the 3.16 till 3.16. So we have discussed evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayate aghairindriyaramo mogam partase jivati. So this also we are done, right? Anybody remember?
Actually, I didn't prepare, Prabhuji. I was a bit busy.
We are done till 3.17, I think.
Okay, thank you, Bharat Prabhu. Okay. 3.17 also we have done. Correct. So this third chapter, I actually wanted to take you through sloka by sloka because third chapter is very, very important, which I feel. I mean, everything in Bhagavad Gita is important. However, for the spiritual seekers like us who are, not completely spiritual, mixture of material and spiritual. For us, third chapter is like a great enlightenment, knowledge, because if we are perfect in understanding how the karmas can be done with Krishna consciousness mentality, then we can say that we are successful to a great level. Because once a human being, once he comes to the spiritual path, he cannot jump into renunciation, or he cannot leave everything at once. So eventually, the detachment should happen, and that too not physically, mentally it should happen. Okay, so you may possess few things, you should also possess few things to lead your life. Okay, and to pursue your spiritual life. However, at a mental level, you have to be detached to those positions. That is what we need to learn. Then, our spiritual life will be successful, and we can travel in spiritual life without any obstacles. Okay, so this, if one has good knowledge about third chapter, the details which are spoken by Krishna in third chapter, if one has knowledge about this, then most of your doubts will get clarified. Okay, so that's the reason I wanted all of us to, walk through this third chapter, sloka by sloka. So till 17 we were done. So today we will discuss from 3.18. Okay, so in 3.18, what Krishna says. So till third chapter, 3.1 to 3.18, 3.17. So beginning of the third chapter, Arjuna asks a question to Krishna, that, my dear Krishna, when you are saying that knowledge is the greatest thing to learn, then why should I involve? Why should you want me to involve in this ghastly warfare? Then better I go to better I focus much on learning knowledge only. Okay. And sometimes you're telling that I have to involve in warfare. So I'm just confused whether knowledge is great or doing action is great. Like that, the Arjuna questioned Krishna. Then Krishna started speaking that nobody can refrain themselves from doing action. At least to maintain the body, we have to do actions, and the actions should be done in a sacrificial mode. Okay, then whatever actions you do, which will help you to grow spiritually, and the actions should be done as an offering to Lord. Like that, Krishna starts speaking to Arjuna, and Krishna also tells that what are the prescribed actions that are being prescribed karmas that are being given to human beings, in the beginning of the creation. Okay, and what kind of actions, what kind of sacrifices, the five important sacrifices, how human beings are entitled to do. And at the same time, Krishna also emphasizes on one thing, that those who are already in the spiritual path, for them, even if they don't do these prescribed karmas, still it's okay, because in the spiritual process that they are following, these are already covered. Because in the Vedic scriptures, there are many karmas that are many rituals that are prescribed. If you wanted to go to such and such a higher planet, then what kind of yajnas you have to do? If you have to attain such and such thing in your material life, what kind of rituals you have to, like this, many karmas are explained. But if you keep on doing these karmas, then you will become a karmi. You will not become a karma yogi. So we have to aim to become karma yogi. Karma yogi means a person who is doing actions with Krishna consciousness is called karma yogi. A person who is doing actions without Krishna consciousness just to acquire some material prosperity, then he is just material consciousness. That will not help him to attain Supreme Lord. Okay, that's the reason Krishna emphasized on spiritual path. Okay, so like there was a king called Nahusha. He did 100 Ashwamedha yajnas. Okay, by doing 100, which are prescribed in Vedic scriptures. Okay, so after doing 100 Ashwamedha yajnas, it is also prescribed that if one does 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, he will get an eligibility of acquiring the position of Indra in heavenly planets. And one time what happened was, because of pride, a lot of false ego, Indra insulted, humiliated his own Guru Brihaspati. So he had to step down of his position, and he had to involve in Brahmahatya Mahapatak, means the greatest sins. Brahmahatya Mahapatak means, killing a Brahmana is called Brahmahatya Mahapatak. And in Kali Yuga, even drinking liquor, these are also considered as one of the Brahmahatya Mahapatak. And, stealing somebody's gold is also called as, also comes under Brahmahatya Mahapatak. So that time, Indra, so he insulted his guru, and because he lost, because when he humiliated his guru Brihaspati, he lost the blessing of Brihaspati. He lost the support of Brihaspati. Then he had to, reach another guru. Okay, and because of some, things, he had to kill that guru. And there's a huge story. I'm just cutting short. Okay, just because I just wanted to let you know how much the karmas can help. At the same time, how they are harmful as well. Okay. So then Indra lost his position, and all the Saptarshis and other Dikpalakas, what they thought. So since Indra is not there, let us find out one eligible person who can take place of Indra. Like that, they thought. They had a meeting and they searched. And amongst the human society at that point of time, who was that eligible person who can take the position of Indra? And they found that the king Nahusha was eligible because he did 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, which are prescribed in Vedas. And in Vedas, it is in scriptures, it is also mentioned that if one does 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, then he will get eligibility to take Indra's position. So they found he's an eligible person, and they brought him, they went to him, they requested him, and they asked him to take the position of Indra and rule until Indra comes back to his position. Because Indra had to undergo certain period, huge period of punishment, because he committed he killed a Brahmana. Okay. So when this person who did 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, when he was given Indra position and he started ruling, though he did many ritualistic yajnas, but his attitude of enjoying mentality didn't go off. So he was still with that mentality only. So this Nahusha, what he did, so he proposed a proposal that since I am the Indra now, okay, since I am ruling, I have taken the position of Indra. Now, so Indra's wife should also become my wife. Like that, he gave a proposal. So he told that Indra's wife name is Sachi Devi. So he told that, Sachi, since I have taken the Indra's position, then his wife should also become my wife. Like that, he gave a proposal, and he told that, Sachi Devi should become my wife. Like that, he told. Then, that's a very crazy proposal. It doesn't mean, if for example, if a prime minister is there, if prime minister, as long as the prime minister rules, and when the prime minister steps down, if the new prime minister comes, if that prime minister asks for the previous prime minister's wife to continue as his wife, then that's a crazy proposal. Nobody will accept that. But since they had no other option, those who can continue with the Indra position. So what they did, the Saptarshis, they went to the Indra's wife, Sachi Devi, Mother Sachi Devi, and they told that this guy, crazy guy, though he did many rituals, but he is not a mature kind of person. Okay. So he's asking your companion, like that they say. Then Sachi Devi, she's a very intelligent woman. More than that, she's a great devotee of Radharani, okay, and Lakshmi Devi. So she's a great devotee of goddess. So she was very intelligent. So she told the Saptarshis that, okay, I'll accept his proposal. However, ask him to come on a palanquin which is being lifted by Saptarshis. Okay. So first thing, the first biggest sin is asking somebody's wife is biggest sin. And second, she wanted him to involve in a second biggest sin, that is being carried by the Saptarshis. Saptarshis are great personalities who are the cause for the growth of human population. Okay, and she asked him to come in a palanquin which has been lifted by the Saptarshis. So then they will understand what is her plan is, what her plan is. Then these Saptarshis, they go to Nahusha and they tell him that see, you asked, we told your proposal to Sachi Devi, and she told that she wanted you to come in a palanquin which has been lifted by Saptarshis. Then she said she will take your company, like that. Then he says, then immediately, then my dear Saptarshis, then take me to Sachi Devi in a palanquin. I'll, take her. I'll accept her as my wife, like that. He says, and they will start carrying. The Saptarshis will ask him to sit in a palanquin, and they'll start taking him to Sachi Devi. And while going, because of too much lust, he has that curiosity. He's so curious to meet her and enjoy her. And Saptarshis were carrying him. Among the Saptarshis, the Agastya Rishi was little bit shortest personality. Okay, so he was not walking fastly. And then this king, what he did, he said that sarpa sarpa in Sanskrit. Sarpa sarpa means quickly go, like that. It means then. Then still, even after saying that sarpa sarpa, still the Saptarshis take him, but Agastya Rishi, he was unable to maintain the speed of the other Saptarshis. Then what he does, he kicks Saptarshi, Agastya Muni with his leg. Then he becomes angry, but he doesn't. What he does is, he says that he curses him to become sarpa. So since he humiliated, one of the greatest rishi, so that rishi cursed him to become the snake. So he becomes a snake and he falls down onto the earth. Okay. So that, like that, though he did many rituals, performed Ashwamedha Yajna, but he could not. His consciousness could not. His consciousness what was not developed at all. He didn't become matured enough to understand what is the purpose of life. So that's the reason, involving in karmas, of course, they make you little bit, pious, but, they don't give you the complete spiritual knowledge. That's the reason you have to perform the actions with the Krishna conscious mentality as an offering to Lord. None of the karma should be done with an aim for a material prosperity. Okay. Though you get some material, though you become materially prosper, again, that should be re-offered to the Lord. It doesn't mean that you have to offer entire your positions to Lord, but you have to go through them with a feeling that this is being given to me by my beloved Lord. So I will use this for my betterment of life to grow in spiritual life. Okay, and I will also use this to maintain my family, and I'll also help them also to grow in spiritual life. Okay, so for that purpose only, whatever actions I am doing, with that, whatever money that I am getting, for that purpose only, I'll use. In with that mood, we have to do our karmas. Okay, so then that will help us. Okay. So after that, then from since last class we finished 3.17, now we'll start with 3.18. So in 3.18, Krishna says, Naiva tasya krite narto na krite neha kaschana nachasi sarva bhuteshu kaschid arthavyapashrayah. Can anybody read the translation? Anybody?
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yeah, please sign in the Mataji. Go ahead.
A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor he has any reason not to perform such work. nor he has any need to depend on any other living being.
Yeah, this is the reason why, the karmas, the prescribed karmas, the Vedic scriptural prescribed karmas are exception to the spiritual personalities is because they don't need anybody's help, nor they seek for anybody's help. Okay, so they are self-realized. They enjoy that, the self-realized the mood always. Okay, so they see the Atma Tattva, the they will be in a soul consciousness, and they will be with a mood that, this soul is servant of Lord, like me, like all the souls are servants of God, all the souls are servants of children, all the living beings are servants of children, servants of God, and they're children of God. So with that consciousness, they lead the life. That's the reason they don't need anybody's help, nor they depend on anybody. Hence, I mean, as long as you depend on somebody, then you come under the condition of prescribed karmas. Okay. So tasmad asaktas satatam karyam karma samacharan asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Krishna says. So can anybody read this translation?
Yes, Prabhu, I will.
Yeah. Okay.
Please go ahead, Prabhu. Kaushal Prabhu.
Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme.
Yeah, this was spoken to Arjuna in the second chapter. Okay, that one should work without expecting the fruits of work. They have to work as a duty-minded, because they are being given that responsibility with that mentality, with that consciousness. They have to work. Okay. Okay. Next, Krishna says, "Karman eva hi samsiddhim astita janakadaya loka sangraham evapi sampashyan kartumarhasi." Can anybody read this?
Yeah. Can I proceed?
Please go ahead, bro.
Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
So, King Janaka Maharaj is the father of Mother Sita. He was not a biological father, however, he begot Mother Sita. He was a great king, and he also had a spiritual inquisitiveness. So he learned what is the purpose of life. What after attaining this human form of life, what should we aim for? All this spiritual consciousness, spiritual knowledge he has learned from great rishis. Okay, and he led his life without any fruity mentality. He begot Mother Sita. He gave her to Lord Ramachandra. He got them married, and after that, he ruled the king as per the rules of Kshatriya rules, and then he left his body. Okay, so here Krishna is giving an example of King Janaka Maharaj. He didn't had, I mean, he had two daughters, Mother Sita and Urmila Devi. Okay, both of them, Mother Sita was given in marriage to Lord Ram, and Urmila Devi was given in marriage to Lord Lakshmana. Okay, so he got his daughters married, and then he led his life as per the prescribed karmas without any fruity mentality. Okay, so and there is a huge there are many pastimes about King Janaka Maharaj. Okay, however, we'll discuss about him on another occasion. Okay, so since he was a great personality, the way he led his life without any fruity mentality, he's very inspiring to human form of life, humans, to the human society. So that's the reason Krishna is taking his life as a reference. Okay, and Krishna hence tells that yad yad acharat shrestha tat tat eva jana sayat paramanam kurute lokas tad anvartame. Okay, so can anybody read this translation?
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Kaushal, bro.
Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by the explanatory acts, all the world perceives.
Yeah, so the great personalities become the trendsetters. Okay. For example, if there is a celebrity, okay, so these days you see many commercial ads are being represented by celebrities. The reason why they take as celebrities to represent their products is that if that celebrity, uses that product, and he will become a trendsetter to his followers.
Yes.
So that's the reason, the great personalities, whoever follows them, they follow what they follow. Whatever trend they set, the rest of their followers will follow that. So that's the reason we have to learn about great personalities from our history. Janaka Maharaj, Lord Ramachandra, Lord Lakshmana, as well the great rishis, and great personalities like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Parampara. You can see 37 Acharyas. If you observe the life of these 37 Acharyas, you will be like, yesterday Govardhan Prabhu very nicely explained about His Holiness Srila Jiva Goswami. So how inspiring his life was. Okay, though he was a great scholar, he never had a pride of enjoying his scholarliness. Those days, if somebody had acquired some scholarliness, they used to go to any king. They used to perform their knowledge, and they used to seek for great prosperity. I mean, they used to seek for um, wealth from the king and to enjoy their material life. But yes, thank you, Lakshmi Mata. Yes, Astavakra Muni, advisor of King Janaka Maharaj. Yeah, so he learned spiritual knowledge from I mean, the techniques of spiritual life from Astavakra Muni. And one time, he was wandering in a garden. There, he heard a conversation between Gandharvas about the spiritual knowledge. And that gave him a hint of what is the purpose of human form of life. Then he started inquiring. So in that process, he has come across Ashtavakramani, and he learned, okay, and he became one of the inspiring spiritual personality. Since that's the reason Krishna is referring him to Arjuna that, see, my dear Arjuna, so the so and so kings who followed this path has become inspiring to the human society. Like that, Krishna refers. So since yesterday we learned about Jiva Goswami, in our parampara also there are many acharyas. If you observe their life keenly, then you will get inspiration, encouraging that how one should live this human form of life. Okay, these acharyas, Srila Jiva Goswami, even after writing some 4 lakh verses, some says 4 lakhs, some says 5 lakhs. It is between 4 to 5 lakh verses Jiva Goswami has written. That means that he was like a living printing press, spiritual printing press. He was like it. And it was also told that, I heard that when he writes on a paper, it was like, as if you printed on a paper. There were no mistakes, no strikeoffs, nothing should be there. Nothing was there in his handwriting. It was so clear to understand. In that way, he used to write. So, such great personalities, if we take them as inspiration, then, we will get encouraged to, pursue our spiritual life as well. Okay. And the next, next line of 3 slokas are very, very important. I, like these 3 slokas very much. This is the first reason why Lord incarnates as a human being. Okay. So at once I'll read 3 slokas, then I'll ask you to read translations one by one. Okay. So Krishna says, Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kaschana नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्माणि यदह्यहं न वर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्यतीन्द्रितः ममावर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वसः उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोका न कुर्यात् कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्तह्यां शङ्करस्य च कर्तस्याम् उपहन्याम् इमा प्रजा. So Krishna says this to Arjuna. So I request anybody to read the translation one after another, those who did not read yet.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, sir.
O son of Pritha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet am engaged in prescribed duties.
Thank you, Mataji.
Next,
Yeah,
next one
next.
also.
Yeah, anybody else? Next.
Yeah, I can read, Prabhu.
Go ahead, bro.
For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path.
Thank you, Prabhu. Next, anybody else? Anybody?
Can I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, go ahead, Bharat, bro.
If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings.
Thank you, bro. So Krishna is clarifying one of the important reason why does he incarnate as a human form. So, for example, if you are working in an organization, there are some set of rules which are being, made just to make sure that that organization functions in a uniform way. So it is expected that everybody has to follow those rules. For example, one should respect the women, one should respect the fellow employees, one should follow the standards of that particular company, one should wear an ID card. Okay, kind of certain rules will be there. For example, if the CEO or a general manager or a chairperson of that company, if they don't respect the rules, then who will follow the rules? First of all, the one who has set the rules, if he follows those rules without deviating, then he will stand as an inspiration for others to follow. If he doesn't follow, then others will say that, and he himself is not following. Who is my boss? Then why should I? Like that, people, the remaining employees also deviate the rules. In the same way, whatever prescribed duties that are being prescribed by the Lord in the beginning of creation, he himself comes down in the form of human form, and he performs that. It happened so. Once, there was a huge famine, the earth has lost its ability to produce the plants. Okay, that time, because um, there was a crazy king called Vena. Okay, though he was a king, he always used to torture the people, the common human beings, and he used to enjoy. He never used to follow any Vedic prescribed, karmas, doing yajnas for the to get to have proper rains, and he never used to respect the Brahmanas. He never used to follow scriptures. Always his only aim was, he used to think that he was God, and everybody has to worship him. And then he forced all the population, all the human beings, that point of time that, they has to worship him only, because being a king, he used to say that, I am the king, I am ruling you. Since I am ruling you, you all have to worship me. That was his slogan. And because of that improper way of, completely Avedic way of ruling, Mother Earth felt burden, and the ability of producing plants was lost. So the reason why, when, people follow sinful acts, people do sinful acts, okay. So the first person who feels burden is Mother Earth, not because, the growth of population. Mother Earth feels burden by the way of the people that they live. If they are living sinful life, then Mother Earth feels burden. If in your family, if you have a child, okay, if your family of 5 or 6, if one person in the family is a crazy personality who does all illegal things, then he will become a burden to the family. Not because, there are many people in the family, but because of his sinful activities, he will become a burden to his family. He will give lot of pain to the other family members. In the same way, there was a king who was not following the scriptures, and because of that, Mother Earth lost her ability of producing plants, and so there was a huge famine came, and all the Satpurushas, I mean the rishis who were doing who were doing the spiritual sadhana, they came to the king to teach him what is the proper way of getting rid of this dirt famine. Then he did not care them. He even insulted, humiliated them, and they cursed him. Because of their curse, the king had to fall death, and there was no king. And robbers took advantage of that. There was no proper ruling. Everybody started looting each other, and that point of time, what they did is, the rishis, they started massaging the leg of the king, and from that leg, a great personality came out. His name was Priyavrat. The king Priyavrat is the incarnation of Lord himself. And Priyavrat, he started change. He made the earth, Mother Earth, as a calf, and sorry, as a cow, and he Prutu, yeah, sorry, Prutu Maharaj, yeah. So yes, yeah, because of his name, he hence after him the Mother Earth got named as Prithvi. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji, for reminding. So the Prithu Maharaj, he started, milking the cow, and from that cow, all the minerals again got milked into the earth, and then the earth, he started producing plants. And when after the Prithu Maharaj came, he did many sacrificial yajnas, but even then, Mother Earth was not giving the plantation, and rains were not falling. Then he made the Mother Earth into a cow, and he started milking her. From her milk, again the minerals came, again the plantation got produced. Okay. So in that way, so Lord himself comes as a human being, and he teaches us how to live and how to follow these prescribed karmas, the Vedic rituals. Okay. And at the same time, how to enlighten us, how to follow spiritual life as well. Like, Lord, once he came as a Kapila, in the form of Kapila, who was the son of Kardama Prajapati in Devahuti, and he taught the spiritual knowledge to his mother. Okay. So for him, there is no need for him to come again and again to again and again. The only reason why he wants to come again and again is to teach us, to preach us, okay, to help us to elevate, to help us to get rid of this material world. Okay. So that's the reason he takes many incarnations. We only know 10 incarnations of Lord, 10 incarnations of Lord. And apart from that, Bhagavatam prescribes 24. And even more than 24, Bhagavatam also says these are just some references. Apart from these 24 incarnations, Lord takes many incarnations, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, okay, Nityananda Prabhu. In Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, we can take, okay, as a reference, which is also been the reference is also there in Padma Purana and Vishnu Sahasrana about the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I mean, what we say, the qualities, okay, are mentioned. With that references, we can understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than the Lord Himself. Okay. So like this, Krishna is clarifying, my dear Arjun, I come again and again to perform these karmas, because I set those karmas. I gave those karmas to human beings for their harmony of life. Since if I don't follow, then they will follow me and say that name and blame me that, since, the person who formed all these prescribed karmas, he himself is not following. Why should we? Like that, they name and blame me, and hence, the Varna Shankara happens. The crazy population will develop. That's the reason, my dear Arjuna, though there is no need for me to do any karma, still I come and do karmas. That's the reason, Krishna also emphasizes in Bhagavad Gita that karma yoga is very important. Understand the logic behind karma yoga. Karma yoga is one of the greatest, simplest process to attain Supreme Lord. Because even if you become a renunciant, still you have to do some karma. Okay. And while carrying out that karma, okay, though you may be a renunciant, but still while carrying out that karma, if you don't have a consciousness of God, then that is useless. So that, renunciation form is just like a disguise, as a makeup in a drama. And henceforth, in future chapters of this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sanyasasya mahabaho dukkam aptamayo gata yoga yukto mani brahma achire nadigachati. My dear Arjun, the person who is a renunciant may also fall into distress if he doesn't have a proper consciousness as a karma yogi. Like that Krishna says. Okay. So that's the reason he emphasizes much in this karma yogi, why karmas are very important. However, we should be, karmas in the sense karma yogi, doing karmas with God consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Then those karmas are important for us to elevate, not just the karmas. So here Krishna says that, how a elevated personality will do karma. Okay. So he says, Sakta karmanya vidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tata sakta chikirshu loka sangraha. Can anybody read this?
Yes, I'll read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead, Prabhu.
As the ignorant perform their duties with the attachment to results, the learned may simply act, but without attachments, for the sake of leading people on the right path. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Krishna is clarifying that, the ignorant people also does karma, and the elevated personalities also does karma. Both does karma, but the ignorance does with attachment, but the elevated personality does karmas without attachment, just to lead people in the right path. Because in your family, if you don't follow the family rules, then nobody will follow. So you will also, you being a spiritual conscious personality, you also does follow the family rules. And some other members of your family, they also does follow the family rules, but the only difference between you and them is they are following the family rules just because of attachment to the family members, which eventually again drag them to the material world. But you are following the family rules with spiritual consciousness, which eventually help you to elevate to the higher planets. And the reason, though you are a elevated personality, still you are attached to your family as a duty-minded person, and to become inspiration to other family members of you. So both ignorant and elevated will follow the karmas, the actions, which prescribed actions, but the consciousness is different from one another. So hence Krishna says, "Na buddhi bedam janyet ajnanam karma sanginam joshet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan." Can anybody read this? Anybody who did not read yet?
Shall I go ahead, Prabhuji?
Yes, Shanti Mataji.
So, as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Right. Thank you. So this is a instruction to all of us. See, all of us, the 8 personalities who are present in this class, have some spiritual inclination. Okay, all of you has a desire to grow in spiritual life. Okay, you have the desire, but your family members may not. They involve in different karmic actions. Okay, you will definitely have a desire that they should also follow spiritual life, and when they are doing different karmas, sometimes you may object them that don't involve in such, don't do this, don't do that, like that. You will feel to tell them, but in that process, what they feel is they feel you as a kind of a show of gaining. They don't listen to you at all. So that's it. Krishna is saying, Hare Krishna. So that's it. Krishna is saying that those who are intelligent people, they don't object people who are involved in different karmas. Okay, but they slowly encourage them to walk towards the actual karmas, which will help them to evolve in spiritual life. For example, there are many ritualistic processes. Now that you got to know that all these rituals are prescribed by Lord Himself. However, more than these rituals, if one comes to the spiritual platform, that will help them. For them, these ritualistic karmas are exception. Even if they don't do those ritualistic karmas, still, that is okay for a person who is at a spiritual platform. Okay, because there is a lot of logistics that are involved in doing these ritualistic karmas. Sometimes if you don't do them properly, then you may get reverse actions instead of getting some fruitive results. Sometimes if you don't follow this ritualistic karmas which are prescribed in scriptures, they may give reverse results also. So instead of that, just if you take up the spiritual path of chanting and hearing about Lord and doing little service to Lord, will help you a lot. Even a little bit of endeavor in this, it is already confirmed in the 2nd chapter. स्वल्पमप्यस्य नेहाभिकर्मणाशोस्ति प्रतिवायुना विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. Krishna already told from the beginning of the 2nd chapter. He said that, my dear Arjuna, this knowledge process which I am going to teach you, if you just follow a little bit in this, if you just understand and follow a little bit of this knowledge which I'm going to tell will help you to get rid of a great dangers. Like that, Krishna already told. So then now that you got some understanding that following, getting into spiritual path is the ultimate, okay, uh, ultimate which will help you, okay. Hmm. Then when you see your family members indulging in a different ritualistic activities, some which are prescribed by Vedas, some which are not prescribed by Vedas, okay, then you may go and object them. You may try to give them some jnana. You may try to teach them something. That point of time, they don't listen to you. They say that, this has been followed from our ancestors. Who are you to tell now that, you are listening to 2, 3 Bhagavad Gita classes. Now you have become a Jnani. All these days, where were you? Like that, they will instead ask you. Then you may feel that as a discouragement. That's the reason if your family members are doing some sort of ritualistic processes, then you should, instead of objecting them, you should ask them to, okay, if you are interested to do that, you do. However, we just request you to do it properly for a right purpose. In that way, if you just tell them, then they may also appreciate and they may also follow you eventually in spiritual life. Okay. So this is an important thing that we, those who are following in spiritual life, spiritual path, they have to understand, because we come from in Sanatan Dharma, in Hindu traditions, there are many traditions, many rituals that are prescribed. Some are from the scriptures, some are, man-made rituals. So because so and so person did such and such ritual, he attained some material benefit. So hence, let's all of us do that. And let's all of us follow that. Like Krishna says, Yad yad acharati shrestha tat tat eva darujana sayat paramanam kurti lokas tat anuvartate. So somebody did some vrata, so they attained such and such benefits. Hence, let's follow all of them. Like that, people will start doing especially in Kali Yuga. So we have to be aware of them. We have to make ourselves away from such rituals. So, however, if somebody is following such rituals, we have to very politely, try to tell them what are the actual, actions to be done. Okay. We can tell them, we can appreciate them, good that, you're doing some, rituals, that's wonderful. In scriptures, it is also told that along with those rituals, if you, read scriptures, Bhagavad Gita kind of books, then, it will add more auspiciousness to the rituals that you're doing. Like that, if you encourage them, they may also take into the path of spiritual life. Or else, if you, whenever you come to temple, you take some prasadam and give to them, and by eating prasadam, the anarthas in their heart will get cleansed, and they may also follow the right processes. Okay. So that's the reason having huge discussions with the family members who are involved in different ritualistic process are not recommended till some point of time, because again, they are already doing something, and if you ask them to stop, they will stop that, and they don't even take the path that you are suggesting. That's the reason we have to be very polite with family members when we are dealing with them. Okay, especially in the spiritual path. Because in India, those who are from Sanatan Dharma, even they have lot of faith or less faith or more faith, they still have some knowledge of some doing some rituals, observing, fasting on different days. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, I'll tell you, I used to observe fasting on Thursday, and Tuesday, Thursday, and after coming to Krishna consciousness, so I got to know that Ekadashi should also be observed as fasting. Then again, Ekadashi fasting. So for example, if in a week, if the Ekadashi comes, then I have to fast 3 days in that week. So Ekadashi fasting is prescribed in scriptures. But Tuesday, Thursday, nowhere it is scriptured, nowhere it is mentioned. So one day it happened so that, Ekadashi fasting I did. Okay. And Dwadashi was Thursday. And, Trayadashi was Shivaratri. So Ekadashi fasting I did. And Dwadashi day I have to, do Parana. It means that, I have to break my fasting by eating some grains. But because since I kept a rule of fasting on Thursday, then, I was in a dilemma, what to eat now? No, the Thursday I have to fast now. Should I eat or not? And somehow I managed to break the fasting with fruits. And the very next day was Shivaratri. So for 3 days, no food. So then, I inquired with my mentors, what is the right way of fasting, which is prescribed. Then they said, of course, you can fast on Shivaratri, but, the weekday fastings are, I mean, it's nothing but, um, like if you are maintaining some diet, then you can fast on weekdays. But Ekadashi fasting is prescribed. If you follow that, then that is good enough. Like this, many rituals, many kind of vratas, fastings, many kind of worships, are there. But if you see anybody following them, for some time you don't discourage them, but you try to give them, yeah, what you're doing good, okay, I appreciate. However, why don't you learn, this also, so that, that will add more auspiciousness to what you're doing. Like that, you have to encourage. Without discouraging, adding something more and encouraging is important. So that was about the instruction for those who are, spiritual followers. And then Krishna says, Prakriter manani gunai karmani sarvasaha ahankaru mudatma karta hamiti manyate. This is a great, this is, a very, very important sloka where most of the scholars, they fall in a dilemma after reading this sloka. Can anybody read this translation? Anybody?
Can I?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
The spirit soul, believered by the influence of the false ego, thinks himself the doer of the activities that are in actually carried out by the three modes of the material nature. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So I ask you, like, what is your understanding after reading this translation? Anybody can share their ideas. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. So Krishna is saying that whatever activities that you're doing, those are being done by the three modes of material nature, but you think that you're doing them. Anybody can share their comments on this. You can read this purport also. The two persons, one is Krishna consciousness, the other is material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. The person in false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently, and that is the symptom of his nescience. He does not know that his gross and subtle body is the creation of material nature. Under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead, uh, and as such, his bodily and mental activities should be engaged in service of Krishna and Krishna consciousness. The ignorant man forgets that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Rishikesha, or the master of the senses of the material body. For due to his long misuse of the senses in the sense gratification, he is factually bewildered by the false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. So Krishna is telling that person feels that he is doing independently everything, but everything is being done by Supreme Lord and the material and his material energy. So what do you understand? What kind of doubts you get after reading this?
A person with the Krishna consciousness, he is try to understand the basics of uh, the type of the bhakti, whereas the ignorant fellow, he will not understand. He will think that with an ego that whatever I am doing, that is a great thing I am going to do. So in between the two, if we will do the comparison, the egoistic fellow at last will come to know by an experience, last will come to know this Krishna consciousness, or doing a bhakti, or listening to experienced person. He is going to be gratify his senses and try to come down to the natural bhakti side.
Thank you, bro. Okay. Anybody else?
Well, everything is done by by us is the sanctioned by the Lord.
Okay. So it means that the sins that we do is also being done by the Prakriti.
No, like
In other sense, Lord.
like
That is about by his karma only.
he has given the right to choose what is correct and what is wrong.
Yeah. Nice, good understanding. Okay, so as long as we are in this material nature, we are being influenced by three modes of material nature. The material nature carries three modes. They are nothing but three qualities. The sattva, raja, and tama. These three gunas that material nature will carry. When you are in a sattva platform, you will perform all sattvic activities. When you are in a rajasic platform, you will perform all rajasic activities. When you are in a tamasic platform, you will perform all tamasic activities. And in a future chapters, Krishna says that, karmana sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkam ajnanam tamasaf phalam, he says. The activities that you do with the sattvic, by being in a sattvic platform will give you good results. And the activities that you do by being on a rajasic platform will give you stress. And the activities that you do by being in a tamasic way, will give you all negative results. And he says, urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhye tishthanti rajasi jaganya guna vrittistha adho gachanti tamasi. And those who are in sattvic mode, they elevate. Those who are in rajasic mode, they again come down. And those who are in tamasic mode, they even fall down to, they even lose eligibility of taking human form of life again. They may take animalistic life also. So these three modes, sattva, rajas, tamo, these three gunas are there in material nature. So as long as you are there in this material nature, being involved, you will be influenced by the prakriti. Okay, you will have to undergo the three gunas of this material nature, and these qualities of you which you have got from the prakriti, because you are in prakriti. Okay, because of those qualities, because of those characteristics, you do everything. Okay? So that's the reason what kind of character you have to have, that is being prescribed. So you have to try and endeavor to be sattvic. So you will be sattvic by taking association of sattvic activities. Okay, and this Prakriti is the Bahiranga Shakti of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord has three energies. One is internal energy, one is the external energy, and other one is marginal energy. The internal energy is Srimati Radharani. Okay, the Antharangika Shakti, Srimati Radharani. And the Bahiranga Shakti, the external energy is goddess Durga, who maintains the Prakriti. Okay, and the marginal, which is also called as Tatastha Shakti, is the Jivatmas, we. So if we take to the if we take the shelter of internal energy, who is Radharani, then we attain Krishna. If we take shelter of Prakriti, okay, if we take shelter of Maya Devi, okay, then we fall into this material world and we will get entrapped in the Maya of this material world. That doesn't mean that Maya Devi, since I said that Bahiranga Shakti is Durga Devi, so you should not underestimate her energy. She makes us to be in this material world as long as you desire to, as long as you try to enjoy selfishly in this material world. If you try to enjoy selflessly by offering your results to God, she will help you to elevate also. So the Prakriti, the three gunas of Prakriti will influence you to perform different activities. Okay, so it is up to you what kind of three gunas that you take shelter of. Okay, so I'd like to stop here for today, 3.27. So we will discuss the rest of the slokas in our upcoming class, probably Wednesday or Friday. Okay. So if anybody has one or two doubts, you can ask. Any questions, anybody? So if nobody has any other questions, they will then, yes, Venkatesh Sri Govindas Prabhu, you have a question, you raised your hand.
May not be related to today's class.
Okay.
So anyway, you're just telling about the three modes of nature itself.
Mhm.
So what do we understand by the terms within and without? Krishna is within and Krishna is without, and he is the supreme controller. So how should somebody understand the term within and without?
You
Krishna is
mean,
within and Krishna is without.
okay, you mean about the energies, Prabhu, energies of Krishna, the internal energy which is within Krishna, and the external energy which is without Krishna, is that?
Or because if somebody will say like Kunti Maharani, when she says in her prayers, she says you are existing both within and without. So what is that context of saying within and without? So she uses her prayers, no, Namasya Purusharthvadyam Ishwaram Prakriti Param Alakshyam Sarvabhuthanam Antar Bhavirahastam.
Okay, Antar Bahir.
Hmm.
You're talking. So the Bahir Shakti is nothing but material world only, no problem. So in material world, he is not lively present. See, Krishna, whatever we are living, the five elements of this Prakriti, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, are the energies of Krishna, but you. Mhm. Hare Krishna. So in this external world, you won't be able to see Krishna. You know, you won't be able to experience the Krishna lively. So that's the reason this is considered as Bahir Shakti, where Krishna is not physically present. But you need some kind of exercise, great exercise to perceive Krishna in this external world also. Okay. So in that context, Kunti Maharani glorified. Okay. So in that, I don't know what difference you found. I couldn't get that, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Krishna as within our own body as the Guru, and he directs our, when we surrender to Krishna, or
Okay.
when we go in for steps. Supposing there is a faithless person and there is a faithful person. He's present both in both the persons who is faithful, and he's also present within the person who is faithless also.
Yes.
How does he act for a person who is faithful? How does he act to a person who is faithless?
Oh. So for a faith person, he reciprocates. You know, Krishna helps him to acquire the highest thing, that is love towards God. Okay, for a faithless person, Krishna also gives whatever he wants, but he doesn't bless him with the love of God, which eventually makes him to fall into the trap of this material nature again and again. And again he has to go into the womb of a mother. Again he has to suffer the garbhastha naraka. Okay, and again he has to suffer the different miseries that are there in material world. You might see that people who has lot of faith on God and people who are atheists, both, you will see that but sometimes you might see that person who is atheist is enjoying more than the person who is person who has no faith is enjoying more than the person who has faith in God. But that doesn't mean that he's like he's an elevated person. That doesn't mean that that will help him forever, because he may be enjoying the material energies which are non-permanent. Okay, and tomorrow after he's done, after the human beings enjoy, as long as their pious credit is there. Once tomorrow, when his pious credit is done, then he may suffer miseries. That point of time, who is there for him to take care of? Who is there for him to give that kind of what we say, Vyaktittva, the character, for him to stand and face the struggles that he is getting. Person who is faithless has nobody to take shelter of when he fall into greatest miseries. And a person who is faithful, he may not be enjoying, but who has a lot of faith on God, if he falls under any misery, then he will even pray to God with more faith and with great interest and great hope that my Lord will help me. And this faith person who is faithful will continue to live. However, the person who is faithless, okay, might end up their life also, which will again take them to hellish planets, hellish life, where they have to suffer for some kalpas as a ghost and as a pishachi. So how Krishna reciprocates with faithful and unfaithful person is that Krishna gives a hope. Krishna gives confidence to the faithful person. Krishna takes away the confidence, hope for a faithless person, which will eventually, become a cause for him to end his life. Okay, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, did it answer your question, Prabhu?
It's a very, very vast. It's a very, very vast topic. It can be discussed in many, many ways. Definitely, this is one of the ways. Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Prabhu. So Lakshmi Mataji has a question: is the external potency that controls Prakriti? Yes. The Bahiranga Shakti of Lord controls the Prakriti. Though it is the potency of Lord, but she takes the control. That's the reason Mother Durga, goddess Mahamaya Devi, she is the one who controls the Prakriti. Friends. Anybody has any other questions? So thank you all for joining today. Sorry, there was some, we did some change in today's class because we got an important meeting in temple. So that's the reason we had to prepone the class. Thank you all for understanding our request and joining the class. And those who could not join, for them, the online link is always there. That will be shared immediately after this class ends. So thank you all. So we'll stop here. We'll meet in the next class. So I pray Krishna to bless all of them who has joined today's class to give them success in their endeavors, in your endeavors. Vanchakalpatarodhyasya kripa sindhubhyo vajapatitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.